A warning regarding the Pi network and the claimed 314,159 value. This is a misleading and unfounded claim.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into a single number. A number that promises to make millionaires out of everyday people, but one that critics are calling a complete mathematical fantasy. And it's a claim that has totally divided a massive crypto community. So this is the number we're talking about, $314,159. Supporters claim that a single Pi coin has something called a global consensus value of over 300 grand, a clever nod to the first few digits of Pi itself. So what's the deal here? Is this a real crypto revolution, or are we looking at the biggest fantasy in the project's entire history? All right, let's get into it. You see, this whole thing blew up when articles started claiming that the Pi network itself was behind the stunning value, all based on some community reports and tweets. And yeah, you had publications running with headlines just like this, basically treating a community hope like it was an official announcement from the company. So, you know what we have to do first? We've got to check the official sources. Right, I mean, if a project really had a fixed value this high, you'd think it would be front and center in all their official documents, wouldn't you? So let's go have a look. And wow, okay, the very first piece of the puzzle just falls apart, like immediately. The claim is that the white paper confirms this value. But the reality? It's just not there. The official document talks about things like scarcity and access, but a fixed price? Nope, not a single mention. So where did this crazy number even come from? Well, this is where it all started. It was actually a really clever, symbolic little nod to the mathematical constant pi. But then a part of the community just ran with it, twisting that symbol into this unbelievable financial promise. Look, here's the bottom line. The Pi core team has never said this. They've never published it, never confirmed it, never even mentioned it. This isn't an official value at all. It's a fantasy, born and raised entirely within a slice of the community. Okay, so we've checked the official documents. Now let's get into the hard math, because this is where the whole thing really starts to unravel. It's actually a pretty simple calculation, but it shows you the huge problem here. You take the number of Pi tokens out there and you multiply it by that wild price they're claiming, and what do you get? A market cap of, wait for it, $2.6 quadrillion. And this chart just puts that number into perspective. It's absurd. We're not just talking about being bigger than Apple or Bitcoin. A GCV market cap would mean Pi is worth 26 times more than the entire planet's economic output for a year. It's just not based in reality. So you might be wondering, if the official sources say no and the math says hell no, then how is this hoax still alive? Well, it's pretty clever, actually. It all comes down to a few really misleading arguments. The people pushing GCV kind of have this three-step playbook to make it seem legit. First, they just invent stuff, like this idea of pure Pi, to make it sound more scarce. Next, they'll show you these meaningless snippets of code and call it hidden proof. And finally, they'll point to test transactions on the blockchain and claim they're real trades. It's a classic move. Use a bunch of confusing jargon to hide the truth. And look, it's not just us or other outsiders pointing this out. You've got prominent people inside the Pi community who are actively calling out these tactics for what they are. And this is really important, because this isn't just some harmless fantasy. It has real-world consequences, both for the people in the community and for the project's reputation as a whole. So, why should you care about any of this? Because people are making real financial decisions based on a complete fantasy. They're holding onto their tokens, refusing to sell at the actual market price, all while this misinformation is just trashing the credibility of the project they believe in. I mean, it's gotten so out of hand that platforms like YouTube are actually starting to take action against it. You've got tons of people, maybe holding just 10 or 100 Pi, who've been led to believe they're basically millionaires just waiting to cash in. And that kind of false hope is huge. It stops them from really engaging with the project for what it actually is, right here, right now. Okay, so we've walked through the evidence, we've checked the official sources, we've done the hard math. It's time to deliver the final verdict on this whole $314,159 claim. So, is the claim true? Does Pi Network have a value of over $300,000 a coin? The evidence couldn't be clearer. Absolutely not. It's a community-driven fantasy, plain and simple, not an official reality. So the most important thing here is knowing how to protect yourself and the community. And that really means not doing a few things. Don't fall for the hype. Don't share this stuff. And please don't make your financial decisions based on something that's literally a mathematical impossibility. Instead, here's what you should do. Stick to the primary sources, the official website, the official social media channels, and really try to understand that a real price comes from simple supply and demand, and actual use, not from a magic number that someone just pulled out of thin air. And all of this kind of leaves us with one last big question. In a world that's so driven by hype and social media, if a community believes in something strongly enough, does the math even matter? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.